So I recently saw the viral story of Tina Campbell, part of the duo Mary Mary, it going viral that her husband filed for divorce. And because I used to follow them back in the day, what I'll say about this is I really think that she's to blame not for his cheating, but for not acknowledging what she was actually dealing with. I think based on her response, which from what I saw was her coming online, doing like a Bible study, and she kept saying that the devil was busy. And what I gathered from that, just me discerning her spirit in that, is that she really wasn't prepared for him to file for divorce, which I think is mind blowing. Just having followed them back in the day and watched their reality show, she acknowledged on the reality show that he had cheated. And then she commenced to do a tour of surrounding the my husband cheated on me, which I thought was in awful taste. I thought it was a bad idea, especially because she was going to stay with him. And fast forward to today, I think that idea was even worse than what I originally thought, just based on understanding how men think, right? Men don't like to be embarrassed and they don't like to be perceived as being dominated by a woman. And maybe she thought that was what she needed to heal, but it came across more so like a humiliation of the man she was married to. And she really should have kissed her marriage goodbye then, because men like the man she's married to, who are operating more so in a grown boy type of energy, they'll play possum for a while, meaning they'll play along for a little while and act like they're going to try to do right. And they'll wait for the moment when they can strike and really do damage and embarrass you on a different level. And like I said, based on her response in that live where she was doing a Bible study and she kept referring to the devil being busy, I said she was not prepared for this, which I think is truly sad and mind blowing, because a husband is not a title, it's a role, right? And if she had been honest with herself a long time ago, she would have realized this man was never her husband. He was just a dude she was married to. And if she had been honest about his behavior, the constant cheating, supposedly, possibly a child conceived outside of their marriage, if that's true, even if it's not true, his constantly betraying his vows and stepping outside of his marriage was an indication to her, should have been an indication to her, this is not my husband. This is just a guy that I'm married to on paper. And there's a difference. And I think if she had just been honest about what she was experiencing, what she was witnessing in his behavior, if she had just done that reality check a long time ago, she would have never been caught off guard by him filing. She would have been relieved. And what's sad is that he filed knowing that it was going to probably go viral, knowing that she wasn't probably ready for it, but he has gotten to the point where he no longer cares. He's literally at the I don't give a F stage. And she allowed it to get to that point without her going through her own process of letting this go. Grieving what she thought it was, grieving the illusion of a marriage and the delusion that she had a husband. She never gave herself the time and space to do that. So now she's faced with the reality that he's publicly put a stamp on. He don't want to be with you. And of course, the reports are that they've been separated since 2024. And again, that makes it worse. The fact that he's cheated on you multiple times. Purportedly, you guys were separated for probably close to 2 years, meaning he moved out of the marital home. I'm assuming that's what that means. And you still let yourself live in the delusion that you had a husband when he was telling you the whole time what he actually thought about you and y'all marriage. Because men don't speak through words, they speak through what they do. My own story, right? The man that I was married to, would come home every day and kiss me and say, I love you, and then go stab me in my back and pillow talk with his mistress about how horrible of a wife I am. And he couldn't stand me. And that just tells you, when you're dealing with a man who's operating in his savage nature, they'll tell you anything. They'll look you straight in your eye and just lie. And then they'll go behind your back, like typical grown boy fashion, and they'll talk bad about you. They'll dog you out, but they'll smile in your face. They'll tell you all the nicest words. They'll put on their best suit to give you the illusion that they are not who they really are. And the thing that it's up to you as a wife to do is to recognize that he's saying this, but he's doing that. He's saying this, but he's doing that. And the two do not align with the role of a husband. And so my heart went out to her as I watched her do that live and try to put up I guess, a brave face. But again, based on how she was speaking, I could tell she never prepared herself for this day. She should have actually been relieved that he was man enough to finally go file, right? Because I don't personally believe it was her job to go file the divorce. I think it was his job to go file. He's the vow breaker. He should go file, and he should stand on his 10 about his role in the demise of the marriage. He should stand on his 10. He should let it be known in black and white that I'm a serial adulterer, that I never honored my vows, and now I'm going to relieve the woman I married from this contract. That's what I have no problem with him filing. I'm not saying at all that Tina should have gone and filed, but she should have been relieved that he did so. She should not be sad. She should not still be mourning. This is something that has been going on for over 2 decades. And what it tells me is that she allowed herself to live a lie, to live in delusion, and keep telling herself that she actually had a husband, when his actions was telling her the whole time he's not her husband. I believe, because she's a woman who's very talented, I believe he latched onto her like a leech because he saw her talent. He saw where it could be taking her, and he latched onto it, and he produced children with her, knowing that he was only doing it for his benefit, for what he could get out of the deal. And again, that's something that wives, women, we have to wake up to. That sometimes we get duped by men that put on a great facade and pretend that they're actual husbands when they're just leeches trying to suck off your greatness. That's it. I believe he saw her talent. He saw where it was going, and he latched on to her so that he could be a part of it and get the benefit from it, knowing that he was not going to actually fulfill the role of a real husband. He was going to latch onto it. It was a plan for a limited time. And that is why he was cheating on her and continuously doing so, because he knew that marrying her was never a genuine thing. It was an opportunistic thing. It was a means to an end type of thing for him. And there's a difference. When a man truly marries a woman for purpose, they don't come in seeking what they can get off of that woman. They come in with genuine purpose and vision for where they want their life to go. And it's up to that man and that woman to work together to meet those goals. But there are times where a man will marry a woman for what they can get from that woman. And I believe he was that type of man. I'm not saying he doesn't have his own talent, but when a man marries a woman for what they can get from that woman or what they can benefit from that woman, and that is their primary focus, it basically means he married a woman he was envious of, because she is the quote unquote bigger star, bigger name. He's known for being her husband. And so I believe that he came in on some, let me see what I can get out of this. He knew he was never going to honor his vows. He's repeatedly dishonored his vows. And he's going to have to live with the residual impact of that. But where my heart feels sad for her is that she never acknowledged it. she allowed herself to continuously live in a lie, in a religious lie that the devil is attacking her marriage. And literally, the devil is catching strays. The devil had nothing to do with her husband's decisions. He made the decision to repeatedly dishonor his marriage. She just never came to the realization that's what it was. She never came to the truth. She kept lying to herself. And it's unfortunate because she's gone 25 years believing that she actually had a husband that she never had. And now that he's officially filed papers, maybe she can actually start the grieving process, the process of letting that man go in her heart and her mind, not wishing him any ill will, wishing him the best, but letting him go nevertheless. Because at the end of the day, they were bound by a piece of paper, but he never honored it. And I could tell, I could see the stress on her because she's been trying to hold up a sham of a marriage for over 2 decades and continuously bearing his children, believing that would tie them together when that never ties a man to a woman. Having a child with a man does not bring you closer, especially if the bond was never there. And I believe the bond was never there from his standpoint. I believe he latched on to her for what he could get from it. And of course, he had children with her because men who are operating in grown boy energy, they don't look at children as their legacy. They look at it as pawns and tools that they can use. And him continuously having children with a woman he never respected or loved just solidified his attachment to her. And it allowed her to continue to live in an illusion and a delusion that she actually had a husband because he kept planting seeds in her. And it's unfortunate that she just didn't tell herself the truth. No matter how many children I have with this man, he's just the dude that I married. He's not actually a husband. He repeatedly shows me through his actions that he doesn't love or respect me as his wife. And again, my heart goes out to her, but my prayer for her is that she grieves the illusion of the marriage she believes she was in, and she grieves the delusion that she actually had a husband, and that she works on that muscle of letting go. Let go of that man and allow him to go live his life in whatever manner he sees fit, and put him over into God's hands. Because if she had turned him over to God years ago and just acknowledged and accepted, I'm married to a dude that doesn't respect me as his wife. And I have to figure out how to move my life forward, because life don't stop because a man walks away from his family, because a man cheats repeatedly. Life doesn't stop. So as the wife who's caught up with a man who's married to her, who never honors his vows and repeatedly disrespects, as the woman, your job is to pivot and figure out how to move your life forward for the best interest of the children that you bore for this man, so that they can have the most healthy experience in spite of the dysfunction. And that's why they say mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Because men are known to say F them kids. Not all men, but men are known for saying F them kids when they no longer have an affinity for the woman who bore those children for them. Men have such savage energy, they can walk away from what they helped bring into this world and not bat an eye and not feel any kind of way about it. And that's why, as a woman, whether you're a wife or not, right? When you choose to bring children into this world, you have to understand the bulk of the responsibility is going to be on you as the woman. Because if that man gets a heavy dose of savagery where he just don't care anymore, he can and he will walk away. and leave all of the responsibility on you. So the best thing for a woman to do, a wife to do, is prepare yourself. When you see the signs that he's disrespecting and dishonoring his vows, you have to have a come to Jesus moment. And yes, Jesus can work miracles, but he gave us all free will. He gave free will to you as the wife and free will to the man you married. And so if that man that you married is exercising his free will and he's ignoring the warnings, the cautions, he's ignoring all of that, he's passing through them like they don't exist, you have to have a come to Jesus moment and say, I got to figure out how to pivot my life so that I can move forward and provide the best situation for the children that I brought into this world, in spite of the man that I married not handling his responsibility. You have to create the most conducive environment that maybe he possibly will still contribute to the well-being of the children, in spite of the fact that he doesn't want to be with you. That is your focus as a mother, not you remaining a wife. And again, I'm not saying she should have filed for divorce. I don't necessarily believe that was her responsibility, but she should have been shifting her life to the reality that if he's already cheating and he's doing it repeatedly, he's telling you he's got one foot out the door, and it's only a matter of time before the other goes. And you have to prepare yourself and your life and your children for when that happens, that you can pivot and you can shift and you can move forward. And unfortunately, it looks like, I'm not saying she didn't do anything, but I think mentally she did not prepare herself for the reality that she never had a husband. She only had a man she was legally married to on paper. That's all she ever really had. A dude that signed a marriage license, but he never really fulfilled the role of husband to her. And I think that is the saddest part of it. And I'm praying that she finds strength to just let this man go. Stop blaming it on the devil and just acknowledge that he had free will, just like you have it. And his free will said, I'm not going to honor my vows. I'm not going to respect the woman that I married. I'm not going to respect the institution of our marriage. And now he's gotten to the point that he's so fed up that he does not care. He does not care about the public humiliation of filing court documents to end your marriage, knowing that you're not prepared for that. But I can't put that all on him, because as a wife, it's your job to recognize when the man you're married to is no longer being a husband, and prepare yourself for that end. She did not seem relieved at all in that live that she put up. It very much seemed like in the back of her mind, she's telling herself, this is just the devil. When no, it's really another D word. It's a decision. He's been making decisions over and over, telling you he doesn't want to be with you and that he doesn't respect or honor you, and you have not come to grips with it. And I pray that you do. I pray that you get the healing finally to let that man go, so that you can be the best version of yourself for your children, so that in the future, you guys can be great co-parents to those children that you brought into this world, and that they could see a healed and happy mom, because there's so much life still yet to live. A man deciding not to honor his vows does not mean the end of the world. It doesn't. It just means that a man is being a man. And he doesn't want to do what he doesn't want to do, and you can't make him. So let him go. Let him go do what he deems best and turn him over to God. Get it out of your hands. Get it out of your heart. Wish him well. Wish him peace, so that you can have peace and joy and happiness going forward. So that's just my thoughts. Again, my heart goes out to her. I really pray those things for her, and I'm praying that she becomes a healed wife.